So in the last 2 weeks, a couple new drivers will now be chasing a championship. See what I did there? Um, at Pocono, we got Chase Briscoe getting the win, fuel mileage, crazy at the end. Held off Denny Hamlin, who is either a 6 or a 7-time Pocono winner, most of anyone. Um, I mean, beating Denny Hamlin at Pocono, really hard to do. Awesome job for Briscoe, 19 team. Um, man, it was stressful for the end because James Small said they were screwed on fuel. That's Chase's crew chief because Chase didn't stay in the box long enough, but uh, he was able to save enough fuel there at the end. And then Atlanta, whew, crazy one. It was the other guy named Chase getting it done. Chase Elliott, most popular driver. Um, so he won after a 22 or 24 car pileup at the start of stage two that busted everybody's in-season bracket. um, and but it was definitely a popular win. He had an Atlanta Children's Hospital initiative on his car that week, so that was special. Um, but yeah, it was crazy. One of the best races this year. I unfortunately didn't get to see a ton of it, but it was a good race. Some kind of trends I've been noticing. RFK Racing is starting to show some life. All three cars were in the top 15 at Atlanta, and I believe all three were in the top 10 at Pocono. Um, I believe with Chris Buescher in the top five in that race. It sort of looked like at the start of the year that Trackhouse was kind of the best of the rest, aside from Hendrick, Penske, and Gibbs. Well, including the Wood Brothers car with Penske. Um, but now it's looking like RFK might be there or might be close. So anyway, and yeah, speaking of Trackhouse, huge news broke today. Daniel Suarez is out after this year. It seems like Connor Zilisch is going to take that ride, although I've been thinking about this. Alex Bowman's contract at Hendrick is up um, at the end of next year. If Zilisch stays in Xfinity another year, maybe he can take the 48 instead of Trackhouse 99. And the reason he might do that, he has said he wants to be the youngest Cup champion. So he's 18 right now. I believe the youngest is 23. So Trackhouse has been linked to a manufacturer switch. And if they do that, they're going to lose their support. We saw that from Legacy Motor Club in 2023 when they announced they were switching to Toyota in May. They were down and out the rest of the year, and they weren't good with their first year in Toyota either. They're much better now. Speaking of Legacy, shout out to Eric Jones on the top five at Atlanta. I believe that matches his season best. Anyway, back to Trackhouse. So if they lose that manufacturer support, they will be probably the worst team in the field. So Connor Zilisch is probably going to have to wait a long time to get his footing. I mean, so if he goes to the 99 now, he'd be possible. He'd maybe have a year of Chevy support, but then 27, if Trackhouse switches teams, they probably lose their Chevy support. 28, they're probably going to struggle. 29 is probably when they can start to contend for wins again. At that point, I think Connor Zilisch will be cutting it close to the age record. He goes to Hendrick, he can contend for championships right away. And, I mean, you know, like when he's 21 or 22, he could um he could easily win a title. So that's that's my only objection to the idea that Connor Zilisch might go to Trackhouse. I mean, he is a Trackhouse development driver, so I mean, it would make the most sense. But that that is something to possibly look out for. I know other drivers have been linked to the 48, like Carson Hocevar has been linked to the 48. Um, I think he's ruffled too many feathers to possibly be in a Hendrick car. Like guys who are like that don't last long at Hendrick. Like we saw with Kyle Busch in 2005, he did not last there very long and found a better place at JGR. Um, I think if Zilich is available, I think he should maybe go for the 48 instead of 99. That's just my opinion. Speaking of Zilich, he won the Xfinity Series race at Pocono with Dale Jr. as a crew chief. Um, Dale Jr.'s first time crew chiefing. I don't really know if that's actually. See, I don't really know if he was doing the actual crew chiefing duties or he was really just kind of a fill. I mean, he was a fill-in, but or if he was, I don't know if he was actually doing the crew chiefing duties or if he was just kind of just taking orders from Marty Limley, who was suspended, who was the usual crew chief. But I think that's cool for Dale to get a win as a driver, an owner, and a crew chief in NASCAR. Only one of 7 people to do that, I think. Yeah. So anyway, I've kind of gone on a tangent here. So I mentioned the in-season bracket. Rylan, you want to pull that up?
Yes, sir. I mean, as you already said, this crash. I mean, it's crazy looking at looking at the race by race results.
Yeah.
Out of the top 11 drivers, three finished top 10, one finished 17, and the rest all finished below 30th. You got
Dang.
Cody
Yeah.
Ware, the current last place full-time runner, his first top 20 finish of the season. And you also
Oof.
have two drivers who are ineligible for driver point scoring with Zilich in 11th and BJ McLeod in 16th. Only the third and fourth times respectively that a ineligible driver has scored in a top 20 finish this year.
Wow.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, you have the
Dang,
one
that's
seed
crazy.
losing, you have the two seed losing, you have the four seed losing.
Oh, did either of you see what Ty Dillon said after upsetting Denny Hamlin?
What do you say?
He said, "Hey, Denny fans, I beat your favorite driver." Like Denny says after he wins. That was perfect. Yeah.
I think the final count is I think 10 drivers that were the lower seed, one out of the I think 16
Mm,
16 head-to-head matchups.
wow. Yeah,
Like
that's
you got
pretty crazy.
32 versus 17, 8 versus 9, 12 versus 5, 20 versus 29, 31 versus 15, 26 versus 23, 22 versus 6, and 14 versus 3 here this weekend in Chicago.
Nice. Yeah.
Which
And the funny thing is, you said more of the lower seeds won, but of the ones that didn't, like Joey Logano was the 25 seed. He's a two-time Atlanta winner, so he won the pole for that race, so he was definitely one of the favorites, but he was wiped out. Um, and so we have Bowman moving on. But yeah, um,
or wait.
that is it was insane this past couple weeks. Um, One last topic. You mentioned Cody Ware. Cody Ware obviously drives for his dad's team, Rick Ware Racing, which was just bought this week. Or well, I don't know if it's full on purchase, but bought into by TJ Putcher, who is one of the co-founders of Spire Motorsports. And Putcher has some ambitious goals for this team. coming up here. He wants to try to make it a three-car team at some point, and try to maybe improve that performance, which I think they need. Also, don't know the um don't know the reliability of this, but I've heard the team sold for $100 million, which is
Gee,
a lot. I mean, for the slowest team in the field, $100 million.
that's
Man,
good for the sport though. It shows that level of investment that people want to put into it.
I know, but yeah, it's crazy.
Speaking of Atlanta, John, I heard people they said they want the race to be moved to the 4th of July, so it's like on the night of the 4th. What are your thoughts on
Whew,
that?
that would be cool. I mean, I feel like they've kind of been looking for a good Fourth of July slot race for a while. They had it, or Daytona was the one for many years. Then during COVID, everything got messed up. They moved it to Indy, or well, actually, they were going to do that before COVID anyway. But they moved it to Indy, which was okay, but that was the last race on the Indy Oval in Gen 6. Then they moved it to Road America, but I think some of the more traditional fans didn't want it at a road course. So, of course, they would move it to Chicago. Um, but I think Atlanta would be good, especially since of like the three drafting style tracks, people have called it probably the best one. So,
Also, how was
yeah.
the TNT broadcast as we moved off of Prime here for the in-season challenge?
I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see a ton of it. I was doing something while the race was going on. But um, yeah, it's the same three guys in the booth, so that's good. Keeps some of that continuity. Um, uh, I didn't hear any major complaints. I heard maybe there were some issues with sound mixing, but other than that, yeah, it was fine.